Hello, hello, it's Rene Byrd. We're back. Thank you so much for your patience. Just technical problems, it happens sometimes. So I'm waiting for the lovely Janice. She's going to pop up any minute now and we'll be able to start our Who Am I live series. I'm very excited. So people will be coming on little by little. Here she is. That's wonderful. Let's find her. Excellent. That's we go. And then you should pop up any minute now, Janice. There you are. We did it. How are you?
That was thanks to Russ.
Oh, thank you, Russ. Oh, that's wonderful. And what we're going to do, we're going to go like this. We're going to breathe because we know that was a journey, that we got it technically. And you're an amazing lady. And I'm very excited to finally talk to you.
Well, likewise.
And how have you been? How's your day been today?
Well, my days are very busy because I'm working with different work all the time. Yeah. I've been painting a large piece. It's dragging on this one. I keep finding more and more things to do with it. Sometimes painting like that, they take a while.
Amazing. No, I've been very excited. I read your bio and I'm so impressed. And this lovely lady, Janice Sylvia Brock, she's an international acclaimed artist. Her work is out of this world. It's beautiful. And when I saw your pieces, it just made me want to go on holiday. And I think now we're under lockdown. I think we need every inspiration we can get.
Yes, we need lots of sunshine. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, it was a prayer actually. When I said a prayer when I was a young child from a hospital bed, I prayed to God to give me a special gift. And yeah, and I started painting from the age of 13 with my left hand because I couldn't use my right. And I saw myself in the tropics, what I thought was the Caribbean, because I was only a child. And I just thought that's where I want to be. And of course, I got to learn about the culture and everything. So.
Wow.
And it's just snowballed from there, from a hospital bed.
Oh, really? So that's when it all started?
Oh, yes. My father bought me a painting by numbers set of oils. And I threw the numbers away and started painting my own creative art.
Yeah.
So I started from
wow, I just love it from 13. And then what inspires you? What's your inspirations for the art? I've seen some beautiful pieces.
Yeah. Well, the start of my work, I was inspired by, I had a lot of built up emotion because I was in hospital most of my younger years. But I started to paint English landscapes and flowers and that sort of thing. And then I did voluntary work. I've done a lot of voluntary work over the years because I see my painting as a God-given gift. So it's nice to give back. That's how I've always thought about my work. And God's also helped me earn a living as well, which has been brilliant. So I started doing this art therapy in a psychiatric hospital, teaching the patients. And I had my lunch one day with a Barbadian gentleman who was the administrator. And he said, Janice, he said, I love what you do, but you've got to get to the Caribbean. It'll transform your whole world in art and colour and everything. And that's what happened. I went to Jamaica first, and I just loved the rhythm and the beautiful breeze and the swaying of the trees and the colour, the people, very vibrant. And then Barbados was my second island. And of course, that's where I have my gallery overlooking the ocean.
That's amazing. So literally being in the Caribbean, that inspiration, I don't need to really ask what you was inspired by because the beauty,
I'm inspired by the people and the dance and the rhythm. And the women are very, no matter what size they are, they're in good shape. They have this amazing boxy.
Yes, I think, we're definitely known for that.
And you're very blessed. People pay thousands, don't they?
They do. It's a lot of money for a boutique. Yeah, you're completely wow.
Natural beautiful race, you know, just amazing.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And
also, yeah, sorry.
listen, after you, Janice.
And there's hundreds of churches in Barbados. There's churches around every corner. And you know, the lovely thing is you walk through any door and they just welcome you with open arms. And I love that. Yes.
Yeah. I haven't been to Barbados. I have been to Jamaica. My family, my heritage is Jamaican, so I know it well. But when I go over there, they know very quickly that I'm not born there because I'm very English. I list, I write, I line up the things, and they're like, yes, I think she's from another country, but they can see my heritage. It's quite funny.
It is. Well, you know, Jamaica, as my first island, the hotel used to round up a lot of tourists, and they'd go on a minibus and take the tourists out and about. Well, I thought I'll have a little meandering walk to this old gentleman that was at the end of the taxi rank, and he had a people's carrier, and I just liked this warm smile, and he was called Ivan the Great.
Okay.
And I said to him, Ivan, I'll round up for you 10 tourists a day. And I just come along. How about that? He said, absolutely. And I said, no, I'll get so much money for you. You can have it all. And he got a nice amount of money on each visit he went on. And, well, he had it all, like, everything everybody paid. And he said, oh, you should come and live here now, and we'll do this every week.
That's
he was
fantastic.
lovely. And he took me to church, actually, on the Sunday. And it was lovely, very warm. Yeah, very nice people.
That's fantastic.
I would say Jamaicans are gutsy and lovable, with a great sense of humour. And, it's true. Barbadians are different again, you know. And,
it's okay.
Yeah. You know, so it's amazing, even though it's different Caribbean islands, the people are subtly different in different ways.
No, you're completely correct. They are very different, actually. They've got a common thread, but different. Culture's the same, but you're right. The vibrancy is different depending. Yeah.
It is. But I love the Caribbean. Yeah, I love meeting different people.
Yeah.
I met this old lady one week and was going up the hill, and she said, you must come to my church, and we have a healing service. So off we went to her service. And my husband, who died 8 years ago, it wasn't my husband, sorry, I was with him 16 years. And I'm sorry, I was with him.
He was.
He died 8 years ago, but I was with him for 16. And he had a terrible back problem and went into the healing service, and he came out completely healed. And this old lady, she was arms around him, and she was lovely. So it was meant to be.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, you've got some great stories about spending time in the Caribbean. And
Lots.
It sounds really exciting. And obviously there's the story of, so starting your artistic background at 13, and then talk me through the stages. You know, when did you get a piece in the gallery, and how did the gallery come about? And you're in Saatchi in the White House. There's a whole story behind you. Talk to me through it.
Lots of things to talk about. My first exhibition was in a library, and I put a selection of paint. It was my very first exhibition, and there were quite a few nudes in that exhibition. And this woman, she ran in and she came into the exhibition and then ran out screaming that there was these nudes. But she actually did me a favour. I sold almost all my work.
Oh, really? That's funny.
She was making such a scene. People thought, oh, let's go and have a look what she's doing. So they came in and they bought my work. But yes, so my work's in private collections in various places all over the world. So it's wonderful. The largest, well, I'm really excited about exhibiting at Saatchi. They gave me a very large space, and all my large paintings sort of disappeared in this vast space. But that was a wonderful experience. That was really lovely.
And
yes.
then you're also in the White House, which is what an accomplishment. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got 2 English landscapes, 2 small ones.
Mm-hmm.
They were English forest landscapes many years ago. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and I was invited to the White House some years back, just before Bush came out of office, and they invited me to a luncheon, and I couldn't go. So I wrote back and said, please invite me again. Anyway, I never got a second invite.
Oh dear.
I had some clients coming over to see me.
Yeah.
So I felt duty bound to be there, for
Mm-hmm.
them.
That's fantastic. And so I understand you do some tutoring. So you tutor?
Yes, yes, I do. I teach children and adults. It's amazing, really. I mean, I teach the technical side of painting, which is very important.
Yes.
Because a lot of students, when they go out and they start painting, they buy lots of brushes that they don't know what to do with.
Yes.
And they, through trial and error, they go through a lot of expense because they haven't got the knowledge of what brushes do what. They do eventually, but they explore. But I found I have my favourite brushes, and I buy my brushes from Italy, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I use a lot of flat brushes. Any artist listening now would know about flat brushes, and the brushes are really nice. And I like a flexible brush, not something rigid. And a lot of my work now is very vibrant. I don't know whether you can see those paintings on the wall behind.
I can see the one in the back. The colours are beautiful. The pink,
Yes,
I can see orange and the blue. I like blue. I love blue. It's one of my favourite colours. Stunning.
Well, that's the Portrait of Dreams.
Okay.
The lady with the flowers. And La Femme Blanche is the one on the left, the lady with the blonde hair. And I just love the vibrancy of colours. And I like to see greens and blues and oranges and everything together. And that is the influence of the Caribbean. Anything goes. You can put any colour together and it works. Because that's the Caribbean. And you really know how to, to live. Feel the joy, the spirit and everything. I think that's what I love about the Caribbean.
There is an energy.
Yes, yeah. I mean, jerk chicken's rather nice, but it's a bit spicy for me.
It is. I love when it's done in the drum, and it's outside, and you've got the outside. It has something different, doesn't it? Kind of creates different.
Well, it's outside living, isn't it? You're never indoors. But it's fabulous, really. I mean, when I got my home there, my gallery, it was very distracting because you've got a panoramic view of the sea, and I had to discipline myself to face this way and look at my easel because the sea was there, and you want to go out. So, but my studio is very breezy, and people come from all over the world to Brocklands, and it's called Brocklands Gallery, and it's up on a ridge, and it's really nice.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It's a paradise in paradise.
Yeah, I'm really blessed. I have a lovely home here, and it's in a conservation area, and again, it's on a hill, so it's very similar. Nice. And this studio is full of art.
It's beautiful.
It's what I do.
Being an artist, you said your inspiration. You travelled a lot, and did you do is there people you would have seen that inspired you? You would have met somebody and you created an image from that, or what's all the different cycles? Like I write songs and it's experiences, mine or other people's. Is it like that?
It is, yes. I did a painting called Dancing in the Light, and it was inspired by people just dancing, messing around on the beach. And I painted this enormous canvas. There is a funny story to this.
Tell me.
And I painted the 3 women. There were 3 white women, actually, but they had boxes like black women. And it was like the 3 muses, of mythology. and they were dancing, and then I've got my sexy fruit. One of the guys from Barbados interviewed me and had a lovely deep voice, West Indian voice, and he said, "Sexy fruit? What do you mean, sexy fruit?" And I put sexy fruit in the picture. Anyway, I donated this painting for a fundraising event in Barbados. They have very good auctioneers there, and a lot of people spend a lot of money in auctions and for charity. And the painting was so large, it was strapped to the roof of the car to get to the dinner, and I was in all my glamorous dress and everything ready for the ball, and going along the highway, and the cord snapped and we heard twang, and the painting flew in the air like a kite, went at an incredible speed, going across the bypass, up in the air. Anyway, got to the dinner safe and sound, and the painting was unscathed.
Wonderful.
It went for it went for quite a large sum of money. Yeah, 250,000.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it raised a lot. It is such a lot of good work, to help children in the Caribbean. There was one chap though. It was very strange. I went to the development centre because when you live there a long time, like I have, you become very involved in the life there, and you see the needs. And I've watched what they require. And one day I was going to do some fundraising for the Children's Development Centre. And I went to the meeting, and there was a long boardroom table there. And this lady, West Indian lady, looked down the table and she said, "You Janice Brock? Janice Sylvia Brock?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I know you." And I said, "I know you too." And I met her years ago because I've had 21 knee replacements to keep walking. I've had multiple surgery, nasty operations with steel rods and everything to keep walking. And there was Jackie at the other end of the table. And it was just fantastic. And we worked together. And she said, "I would like you to meet Christopher Benjamin." And I can't tell you how his accident happened, but it's really sad. But he's paralysed now from the waist down, no, higher than the waist. And I went to visit him, and he paints, and he's a good artist, but he had very, very few art materials. So when I went to see him, I said to him, I leave to go back to the UK on this trip. I said, but I promise I will have the creme de la creme art materials for you before I leave. And I prayed to God to sort this out. And I did. I had an easel, had art materials, everything, and presented it to Christopher. And he was just absolutely in awe. And one of the nurses looks after him there at the centre, and he's about 46 now. He'll always live there at the geriatric hospital. But Christopher's a lovely, lovely man, and he sells his paintings now, which is great. But then he needed a wheelchair, so I did more fundraising and got him the state-of-the-art wheelchair, and and a waterbed, which is what he needed. But Christopher's lovely, lovely young man, and he paints the most amazing watercolours. So, yeah.
And I know that you've overcome lots of obstacles. And how did you manage to do that? You must have a lot of mental agility to be able to have got through the things that you've had to get through. Yes.
I've always had faith, though sometimes it's very difficult challenge. It is very difficult challenge because sometimes wonder where I get the strength from, that inner strength. But I am very strong. Yeah. And when I have a problem with my legs, if they don't work properly or something, because my illness affects every bone in my body, you just learn to adapt. And surprising us, a couple of painkillers. High as a kite and then you go again.
And you must be really painted at that point.
I know, absolutely. I shattered my elbow. I had an accident in Barbados, and this is my painting arm, and I work without an elbow joint now. I decided not to have the operation, and I actually paint without an elbow joint. So I've learned to control my arm with tendons and not very good muscles, but yeah. And yeah, so there's a way around things. I thought my bones are so thin. I thought, no, I'm not having the arm operated on. This is a very important arm. And it's amazing how life works out, because I thought I'll paint my emotions out on canvas. And I painted a picture of me holding my palette and painting this figure, which actually was me in one of my oval face styles. And I painted the break in my arm, and I did a tear running down my face. And I thought, no, I don't want to show the tear. You know, I've got to overcome this. And I keep taking the pills, and I finished the painting. And then this gentleman walked into my gallery, and he said, I absolutely love that. He said, what's it called? I said, The Challenge. He said, I want to buy it. So I told him the price I wanted, and he said, I'll buy it now, I'll have it.
Wow.
And that was an answer to prayer, because I thought I'd never paint again. I really, really thought, with a shattered arm, because it broke off the little bit of elbow joint I had, and the bone just shrunk. It just whipped up into the upper part of the arm. And so it's a miracle I can still use the arm. And I'm still painting.
Yeah. God is good.
Yes.
Really
and I'm on a good diet. I can recommend anybody listening to this program, if you have arthritis, look at your diet. It's so important, because you've got to get the inflammation down in your body to stop it flaring up. If I'd have been on this diet I'm on now, as a child, I wouldn't have had the severe bone problems that I have now. I have very thin bones. Yeah. I don't think about that. I just try and get through each day, and I just thank God for every day. And what can I do now?
You've got a beautiful energy, beautiful spirit, and I can see the paint. You paint your life, you paint your emotions. It's beautiful, your experiences.
Yes, I do. There was one painting I did called Salvation. I never can describe it. It was like a time in my life where every operation was going wrong. So I painted a tangled web of people struggling, and then there was me at the top reaching for the cross. And I knew one day I would get there at the top, and I was searching. Can I talk about a little bit about my faith?
Yeah, yes. Whatever you want to talk about.
I always wanted to be close to God and find the light, the inner light, and I found it. I used to be a spiritualist years ago, and I was always searching. But actually, when I became a Christian, I'd found the light, and it was just incredible. And now my paintings are full of light and laughter and love. You know, they're not heavy like I used to paint, but I was working through my emotions in those days.
Yeah.
I did a painting called Despair. I was really struggling years ago, and it's so unbearable, this painting. It's in the garage. And a warlock wanted to buy it.
Oh,
and I said, no, you are not buying it. Nobody's going to buy this painting. No one. And I lock it away in the garage. I can't live with it. But it was how I felt, and everything, and all the pain and everything else all went in that picture.
And the thing is healing, isn't it? There's healing in music. Like at this time, we're in COVID, most people have got through it through music, through inspiration, through conversation, what we're doing now. And you've got it through painting and expressing, and you must literally go to another place when you're painting, because you go, don't you?
I go into my world. And when I can't wear red. Your lipstick's fantastic.
Oh,
And
thank you. I thought I'd brighten up a little bit. Thank you. I love colour. I love colour. I can't cope if
yes,
there's no colour around
that
me.
lipstick's lovely, and it's fabulous colour in my paintings. But I can't wear red. I can't wear anything bright when I'm working. I have to tone myself right down, almost like mentally. I become invisible and enter my whole being into that painting.
I see.
And when I've finished a painting, I sit back and look at it and I go, yeah, you know, I'm happy with that. And it's like Portrait of Dreams. It was just a beautiful painting just to relax into and let it unfold. And I like movement. I think everything moves, except if you're painting a building, but even that has shadow. You know, when you're painting a building, it has light, shadow, angled parts, of course, but even that's got shadow and everything. Yeah. But I like
how did it feel after you? Sorry, Janice.
No, go on.
How did it feel when you had your first painting, like you went to your first exhibition? You curated your first exhibition. How did that feel?
That was very exciting and nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking because I had to work very hard to get the press to come.
Yeah.
There's a lack of interest with the press coming to support artists. I would like to see more of that. Actually, the press need to support artists, especially at the beginning of their careers. Yeah. You know, they need that. So I got the press over, and I was so excited. I think my painting, actually, one of them was called Beth, and it was £8.
So you've done very well, from £8 to 250,000. That's my goodness. That's amazing.
Yes. I know. I found the old price list the other day, and I thought, golly, this is amazing. I think the most expensive was £18, and my mother said they're far too expensive. It was £8. And that was called White Beauty, King of Beauty. And it was a horse, a white horse, rearing on its back legs, right on the edge of a cliff with a sort of volcano erupting. And my paintings, they were very, sort of dramatic. And I remember painting another painting called Thought, and it was very thought-provoking. And this lady came to look at the painting, and she wanted to buy it. And if we were discussing price, and my mother came in the room, and she said, "Oh, you don't want to buy that, do you? It's horrible."
Cheers.
That was my mother. And anyway, this lady said, "Well, actually," she said, "I really love it, and I want to buy it." It had a religious feel to it, you know. It was just the colours, I think my mother meant. She was thinking on the colours, because there were dark colours, and then the light flesh tones and so on of the people.
So your picture's basically your journey of life, isn't it? It's your story of your life. Yes.
I tell you, can I share an amazing story? I went to my walk in life has been really interesting so far, and I've experienced so much, you know, in my life, and I wanted to go on another 70 years.
Oh, and you will. You will, definitely.
Yeah. But I went to an evangelical meeting in a church, and they had a speaker, and during the evening he stood up and he said, "You there?" And I thought, who's he talking to? He's talking to me. And he said, "Yes, you with the blonde hair." He said, "God's going to commission you, and it's to do with water." And I said, "What do you mean, water?" Anyway, he elaborated, and I don't know what it was. And they said, "It's going to happen in a few days." Well, nothing happened until the third day. And then a gentleman rang me, and he was a monk from a monastery. And he said, "I've tried to find you." He said, "I love your work, and I want you to paint me the parting of the parting of the sea with Moses." And I was
that man, he saw it. Yeah.
I was speechless because that speaker was right. I was doing something with water. He didn't know I was an artist. He just didn't know I was an artist. So I did the painting, and that painting hangs in a monastery in North Manchester. Yeah.
And then
So
you've got paintings in the White House. Tell me how that happened. That's amazing.
Well, they were bought privately in London, and they were bought for the house. And that's, so that's
Beautiful.
how that happened. Yes. So, and then I wasn't invited to the White House, but I was invited, as I say, when Bush was just before he went out of office.
Amazing. And
then, but sorry.
No, after you, Janice. It's your time. After you.
But my paintings, one of the first paintings I sold was to a little old lady who lived down the road, and she just fell in love with one of my paintings. And you know, it's those sort of sales that are very precious to me, because she really wanted that painting, and she went all out to get it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I've met wonderful people over the years. Just incredible. Yeah.
And that's incredible. And you know, what advice? I mean, as an artist, it's hard. People say, "Oh, what advice?" It's something creative. So, is it in the person? Do you think it's something they just have, and then they evolve and they become, or is it something people can do? I always wonder: is it part of you? It's a gift, isn't it? Really. So
I see it as a gift, and I think a lot of my students, when I teach them, they say, "Oh, I can't paint," but actually, if you have any creative bent in you at all, you can create. And even if it's contemporary, you know, or just enjoy the colour, set your palette and enjoy the colour. You know, that's what art is. And don't be afraid of making mistakes, because I don't believe you make mistakes. I believe you develop from, say, one stroke of the canvas. And then you add another element to the canvas, and it develops from there. Yeah, so it's good.
You've got so you've got watercolors and oil. Do you do both of them, or you specialize in one particular style?
Well, I'm mainly an oil painter, but I took on last year, I was asked by a company called Nirvana Spa. It's not an advert. No,
it's okay.
The directors of Nirvana Spa loved my work, and they took me on to paint 4 huge panels, which were 10 foot high, 11 foot high by 10 foot wide, 4 of them. And I went down to the spa and looked at these panels, and I said to God, "Please, God, I want this, I want to do this." And then I thought, I can do it. And that's another thing I say I can do. You know, I don't think of failing. I'm just very positive. And I had a very good assistant that worked with me. He's a professional photographer, of course, but he worked hand in hand with me. You know, and he got to know my colours well. I honestly couldn't have done it without his help, because he was clambering up and down the scaffolding, the lift. I had a scissor lift that got me up and down. The joiners made it, the directors made it possible for me to do this, because I can't climb into a lift. So they made low tread steps, 3 lots of steps at different levels to reach different heights. I had a low bench and a higher bench, and then I worked from the lift. And so my women, with the 4 seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and I worked with acrylic. Because it was a spa called in the Colosseum Suite, they needed the paint to dry quickly, and I used Italian. A lot of my paints are Italian, and I used acrylic, and they're beautiful, beautiful colours, and it was great, you know, amazing.
That's amazing.
And the winter one, I painted 2 wolves in it as well. And everybody said, "Oh, I love the dogs." No, the wolves. "Oh, the dogs are great." No, the wolves.
No, the wolves.
The wolves.
The wolves. Wow.
And she was quite austere in the picture, but she would be. She's Goddess Winter, but she's still very beautiful. But everybody had their favourites in the spa.
Wow.
They all
So
have
they go different places and then they go like, and paint pictures. There's nothing more beautiful than a beautiful picture in that environment. Nothing more beautiful.
I mean, Goddess Summer, she just flows, you know. Many years ago, I met an artist in Spain, in the centre of Navacas, and he was incredible. He produced the most beautiful sculptures, and some of his were based on mythology, because I studied mythology years ago.
Okay.
And it's full of fantasy and romance. I am a romantic. I'm terrible. I am a romantic. But I'd already painted my goddesses of the seasons many years ago. And then when I met this artist who also depicted Goddess Flora, which is the goddess of summer, and he depicted her and designed her like mine, with the trail of the flowers and the flowers coming from her breath into her hand and onto the ground. Beautiful. And
it
sounds
like so much fun, like that you can wake up and you have a bright day like today, and then you just get something in your spirit that says, "I want to paint," and you just let it go. Just let your hands, your mind, and then it evolves. Is that right?
Yeah, it does evolve. There's a piece I'm working on at the moment, and I've called it "In His Arms." It's not finished yet, and I don't move the camera in case it goes off.
You can show me after.
Yes, and it's Jesus really, and there's a female nestling on his chest, and it'll be a lovely painting when it's finished. And it made me think of lockdown, because everybody has struggled in one way or another, and I just felt the comfort of Jesus, how much he comforted me. I can only talk about my walk and how he's worked with me, but that painting, I'll send you a copy of it when it's finished.
It sounds beautiful, and I think you've said something really profound. Right now in this time, it's been really hard for people, and as we're coming out of lockdown, we've been able to see more people, but that touch, that connection has been missing, hasn't it? And how beautiful that you could create something that's going to depict that moment.
Yes. Well, there's always good comes out of a bad situation, and I feel with this situation how people have pulled together and helped other people, and I would love the world to carry on doing that sort of thing. It would be a wonderful place if we just kept doing it, and reaching out to people, not take any part of life for granted, because every day is a special day.
No, it is. Maybe the government should have like a day of remembrance of this. I know it could be painful, this only thing for some people because they've lost loved ones, but just for us to not forget how precious life is, and people that have contributed to us getting to where we are now, the key workers and nurses.
Yes. Very true. Yeah.
Oh, it's such an exciting story, and it has its dramatic side as well, and you've overcome lots of pain, because that's what it is. You've overcome pain, but you brought that pain into something very positive.
Oh yes, all the way. I mean, I bred huskies years ago and showed them in Crufts and so on. Oh, wow. And I went on a husky team through Thetford Forest many years ago. And that was a part of my life. My first husband. And,
it's a little private joke. That's funny. And what advice would you give to any inspiring artist that could be listening right now?
Never give up. believe in yourself, always believe in what you're doing is where you want to be, enjoy what you're doing, and keep on pushing your work, keep on believing in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because with art, any form of art, you're out there facing the public, and some of the public can be very unkind. So you've got to believe in yourself, and I think that's good. And just keep going. And from one painting to another, you'll just learn from each one. And, you know, I did actually had an opening to go to university, but I spent most of my life in hospital. So I painted a lot of paintings for my hospital bed. And then when I was at home with my parents, I hogged the dining area. It was
that was your space.
Yes, that was my space. And then she'd say, "How are we going to eat dinner?" Had to move everything. But yeah, just never give up. Life's precious.
No.
At the age of 19, I was given 5 years to live. Wow. With kidney failure. And when I survived it, I wrote a poem. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah, I wrote a poem, and it was how special life is. And we take a look at life again, you know. Yeah. And it says, today is a new day, a bright day, a warm day, with singing birds, melody voice sweet, ethereal sounds that echo in the air, sweet smelling blossoms in contrast complete. And beyond, beyond the green hills anew, I seek to seek in all earth's beauty, for born is spring's warmest day, and set before thee as such bliss is in thee. And still, while stillness is about thee to sit and ponder, on dreaming thoughts that sail slowly by, on calm jet swirling waters surf, my thoughts in like my feelings, fly out of reach beyond the skies, for today spring has kissed me.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
And even now, having written that years ago when I was 19, I still feel choked up, because I know how precious life is when you're given so many years to live. Wow. You restructure your life. You realize this is it, and I'm going to do everything I can with my life. But not just that, I thoroughly enjoyed reaching out and helping other people. That's what makes your life rich.
Right.
Helping other people.
You bless to bless, I call it. When you're blessed, you bless others. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. I count the blessings every day, and just amazing. I've got so many stories. I'll probably, when I go off here, I'll think, oh, I should have told you.
No, not at all. You know, this is your opportunity, and it's so lovely. Thank you for letting me into your life, sharing stories, sharing your experiences. And you're a beautiful, beautiful woman, inside and out. And your expression and your artistic talent is amazing. And I'm no doubt you've inspired a lot of people listening, and who, well, I put it on the platform, they're going to hear your story and want to do more. And you're right, life is very precious.
It is, yes. And I have to say, and I mentioned it before about diet, it really is important. You don't need a lot of food to survive, and you have to eat the right foods. I'd rather be thin and healthy than eat the wrong foods and be have flared up joints. So yeah, very important.
And where can people connect with you? What's your website, your social?
They can go to my website. Just put Janice Sylvia Brock in, and it comes up. www.janicesylviabrock.com. It's a little bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
I know.
Yes, and they'll get me on there, or they can email me on my email. Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to talk about anything, if I can be of help, I will. I've I remember once I did a fundraiser years ago, and it was for the disabled children in Barbados. But I had a horrendous accident and shattered my leg in 3 places. I was not going to miss the dinner dance, so I was on morphine, high as a kite, in my ball gown. And I'm not kidding you, I was sat in a wheelchair to hide the plaster cast, and the ball gown came up like a balloon.
You wanted to party, why not?
Yes.
Oh.
And I raised more money for Barbados, for the children there. And I like to feel it gives me a purpose. I need a purpose to help those other people.
No, I can see that.
And the joy in their faces.
It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. I know you've inspired me. You've overcome lots of obstacles. You're still creating pictures which are just out of this world. I love the one behind you as well. The picture that you showed me is stunning.
Well, yes.
Gorgeous, the colours. I hope to come and see one of your art creations one day. I definitely would love to do that.
Yes, I hope very much. When I have an exhibition in London, I would love you to see one of my guests to come.
I would love to be there, definitely. And thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for the patience with all the technical stuff that we got there. And it's been a pleasure to have you on my platform of the Who Am I series. And we'll definitely keep in touch. This is Janice Sylvia Brock, and I'm really excited to have had you today. And I wish you all the best and be safe and enjoy the weather. The weather's lovely, so that's nice.
Yes, it's like Barbados.
It is, yeah. So, no, you take care and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you, Rene. Thank you.
You're very welcome. God bless you.
Thank you, you too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.